What's up, fam? It's your boy Black at you, back at you, another short video. This video is going to be about human flesh. This is reviews of human flesh, about real cannibals who done ate people, and they're going to tell how it tastes. Okay, the first dude, his name is Arthur Shawcross. In 1972, Arthur Shawcross killed a young girl and a young boy in Watertown, New York. He went to prison for the crimes, but he was released after serving just under 15 years. His record was sealed when he moved to Rochester, New York in 1988, where he soon started killing prostitutes, claiming 11 lives before he was caught. Once he was back in prison, Shawcross started bragging about some of the disgusting things he did to his victims, including a number of cannibalism. He claimed to have eaten human flesh while serving in Vietnam, where he supposedly followed two women in the jungle, butchered them, and ate them. However, there was no evidence about this here. He also claimed to have eaten the genitals of 4 prostitutes and the heart of a 10-year-old boy he killed. The bodies were too decomposed to verify this, but they were horribly mutilated. According to Shawcross, human meat tastes like the burnt end of a nice post-rock. Gosh. Wow. Now, the other dude, number 2, his name was Peter Bryan. He had a long history of violence. Started when the owner of a store he worked in fired him for stealing. In response, Bryan beat their 20-year-old daughter to death with a hammer before trying to commit suicide by leaping from a balcony. He found to be mentally ill. He was placed in a maximum security psychiatric hospital in 1993. 9 years later, he was released from the maximum security and moved to another hospital, where he eventually granted permission to leave the ward unsupervised. That same night he left the hospital, went to the apartment of 43-year-old Brian Cherry and brutally beat him to death with a hammer. This dude liked using hammers. Then, using a saw and a number of knives, Brian amputated Cherry's arm and right leg. When the police arrived, they found brain matter in a frying pan on the stove. Brian said that he had cooked the brain in margarine and that it tastes really nice. He added that he had also sampled meat from Cherry's legs and arms, which he described as tasting like chicken. He was crazy motherfuckers here. Okay, another dude, number 3, in 2010. The 21-year-old Norwegian art student named Alexander Selvik Wohnskog was scheduled to have his hip replaced due to a birth defect that he left him reliant on crutches or a wheelchair to get around. In the year leading up to the surgery, Wingo managed to convince his doctor to let him take the removed hip bone with him. Winslow didn't know what he wanted to do with it, but he knew that he wanted to use it in his art somehow. When he got home after the surgery, Winslow started boiling the hip and scraped some of the flesh still clinging to it. Realized that it was a unique opportunity, he decided to taste a scrap of the flesh, describing it as really nice. After he decided to make a meal out of the flesh, the remaining on the bone, there was only a handful of meat left, so the dish was an appetizer. He served it with a side of potatoes and a glass of wine. And according to him, he said it had the flavor of wild sheep. You take a sheep that goes in mountains and eats mushrooms with it, it was goaty. Wow. Let's get back to our boy Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer, notorious Milwaukee cannibal Jeffrey Dahmer, claimed the lives of 17 young men between 1978 and 1991. Dahmer never really spoke about his cannibalism, but when he was arrested, he discussed it a little bit with the FBI. He said that he would cut off pieces of the body, usually from the biceps and the thighs, and he would also cut out some organs. He would take the muscles of the organs and chop them into bite-sized pieces, which he would then cook in a skillet on the stove. As for what Dahmer thought of the taste, he said was similar to filet mignon, which is a cut from the small end of beef tenderloin. It is considered the most tender cut of beef and also called the king of steaks. Anyway, Dahmer was sentenced to life in February 1992, and 2 years later, the cannibal was murdered by an inmate. Wow. Here's another dude here. I think he's from Spain somewhere, in Brazil, named George de Silva. In 2012, Brazilian George Cecilia, his wife Isabel Cristina, and his mistress Bruna Silva was arrested in connection with the murder of a homeless woman. After being taken into custody, they quickly admitted to killing 2 young women as well. In all 3 murders, the trio cannibalized the bodies and sold the meat. In an interview, De Silva compared human meat to beef in a taste and consistency. Since it was a beef-like taste, De Silva said the group had 3 different recipes for cooking human flesh. The first was carne guisada, which is a Mexican stew. Man, these dudes are wild. Put it like this, I'm not going to be reading more and more about These guys here, but one says, she killed her husband and took the ribs out and cooked them as ribs and put barbecue sauce on them. Now you probably say, why are you making this video here? Why? Because I always make videos when I have discussions with people about things. I saw a video with this little boy. He says, Father, they kill little kids, like 2-year-old kids, like these rituals, and they take the meat and they sell the meat to McDonald's. Which the guy did not believe me, but I found the video and showed him there. I said, this little boy, look, he's telling the truth. He's about 7 years old. It's hard for a little kid to lie about things he done seen about little babies. They drinking blood and they selling human meat. Anyway, they found human meat inside McDonald's and a lot of these fast food restaurants. Like I always say, if you're a little old head like me, back in the days, them hamburgers tasted much different. Now, they're not the same. So I don't know if they call them beef or human meat, them damn things. But fam, you gotta be careful out there. Watch out what you're eating now. Cause the agents out there giving the dogs. And heard they got, matter of fact, places out there, and I think Tokyo, yeah, they got a little place where they sell human meat. So check that out, fam. They selling human meat out there. Be careful. Watch your kids too. They snatching little kids up. They might be trying to sell them and eat them too. And I'm out.